Hey guys, I'm here to get into Psycho, which was directed by Alfred Hitchcock and released in the year 1960. And this is a timeless masterpiece, which is just transcended on so many different levels. I'm watching this. I've seen this a lot, particularly when I was like around my ages like 17 or 21. I remember seeing this in theaters numerous times. Just every time, this just feels like a completely rich kind of masterpiece, which feels very influential towards so many personal favorites. Very unpredictable, just very unsettling, and it always feels like this extremely detail oriented. The screenplay just wonderfully conveys so much detail to this original story. It's just a very strong kind of psychological display of just a maddening kind of scenario as it gradually unfolds. And Anthony Perkins is just a groundbreaking kind of villain character, which just his performance is so ahead of its time. He really does seem like a very forward-thinking, like I would assume like almost a 2000s type of performance, but happening in the year 1960. That is so ahead of its time. He's so sinister, very convincing. And it's just a meditation on characters just facing a lot of devastation and a lot of loneliness and limitations. The cinematography is just absolutely wonderful. I mean, I think more than anything, it has a lot of flow of like the Coen brothers. It also kind of has like even some of the suspenseful, unfortunately, it always subconsciously takes me to projects like Apocalypse Now and Silence of the Lambs. Just a lot of layers of suspense all throughout. Where I'm always interested in the examination. It's always so interesting just seeing how this unfolds. And just again, the soundtrack by Bernard Herrmann's one of his all-time best. It's just a very original moment. Alfred Hitchcock was just kind of, I think, Alfred makes something really dark, but extraordinarily dark and horrific, kind of like just like a low-budget horror. And yeah, I mean, this is just wonderfully paced. I mean, it's just like you get to know the characters really closely, and there's a lot of suspenseful moments, but it's very slow paced at getting to its big moments. So there's a lot of numerous twists and turns going on in this one. It's just a very original kind of influence it leaves, and yeah, it's one of the most influential horror films I've ever seen. This is just a complete wonderful moment of Alfred Hitchcock. And I'm just completely stunned by this from start to finish. It's just perfect filmmaking from start to finish. It kind of just feels like it's a suspenseful, sense of joyful energy it conveys. And it just feels like ahead of its time. Again, it was just like very forward thinking from anything else that was happening in the 40s or 50s. Like this was just kind of its own sort of project that very much foreshadows a lot of like honestly 60s onward. Really, like it's just kind of a lot. Even like in modern like 2000s thriller like perspective, like it lives in a lot of it. It's just one of the best of all time. It kind of just conveys again just so many angles you don't really expect it to go. And yeah, it's incredible. It's just such a masterpiece. It's very terrifying, actually very disturbing. Very much a disturbing masterpiece, which definitely kind of explores Alfred Hitchcock just feeling like kind of telling something overwhelmingly crazy, and he just really does it successfully with this incredible mystery story. There's just so much fascination with psychopathy going on here that it just completely holds up. I mean, it's just like, perhaps like one of the first slasher. I think it is technically the first slasher film ever made, but it really does kind of just hold up as one of the best still yet. Like I said, pacing's like very Coen. Like, it makes you think of Fargo a lot, particularly. Like, it's just original. I absolutely love all this from start to finish. And it gets strongly recommended.